Sinead here, back again. Today I want to talk about the moon in astrology and its symbolism and some of its themes. Now, quick disclaimer once again, these are my opinions, this is my understanding of the moon. We can entirely agree to disagree. But here we go, let's jump right in. What is the moon? The moon is the Earth's satellite. The moon takes 2.5 days to change zodiac signs. So of all the planets in astrology, the moon moves the quickest. In certain cultures, the ancient lore depicts the moon as a hare, a rabbit, because of how fast and how quickly it moves. In Jyotishi, Vedic astrology, the moon is the most important planet, the most important graha, because it represents the mind. Now, what is the moon? The moon is the mother. It is your relationship with your mother. As I said before, the moon is your mind, it's your internal monologue, it's your inner child. The moon is your face. Now, why do I say the moon is your face? Because the moon is exalted in Taurus, and Taurus is the face, the second house. The second house rules the face. The first house, the ascendant, Aries, is your physical body, your physical being, your overall vessel that your soul, your spirit, your life force resides in. Aries in the first house is the head and the physical body. But the moon and the second house is the face. And of course, the moon naturally falling in the fourth house has a lot to do with your chest and the bosoms and the nourishment you attain from your mother. But when you look at a person's moon, and this is one of the main things I learnt from Vedic astrology, the moon is reflected in the face a lot of the time. So when you want to see a person's face and connect the dots to what it means astrologically, you look at the second house, the planet ruling the second house, and the aspects that planet is receiving. But you also look at that person's moon. This is especially true, I found, for people with strong Leo moons. A lot of people with strong Leo energy. You can tell when someone has very strong Leo energy because they have the big hair, the big mane, the big lion's mane. So you see someone like Trump, because he's a good example. He has Leo rising. That's why he's wanting to quaff to. But yeah, especially women with strong Leo placements or planets in, like luminaries in Leo. The big mane, their hair, certain features are very reflective of the lion. So, moving away from the physical manifestation of the moon, because it's our mind, it's what we manifest. It's our thoughts. Thoughts are prayers. What you think about all the time, that's what manifests in your life. It's your perception. So going back to the sun is your vision, your sight, your perception, your awareness. The sun matures at the age of 22. The sun is your conscious and decisive actions. What you think is the right course of action to take is the sun. Whereas the moon matures at the age of 24. The moon is your mind. It's, as I said, your internal monologue, your internal voice. It's what you're considering. Mercury is your intellect and has a lot to do with your motor skills, but that's for another video. The moon speaks to your desires, what you want, what you would like to fulfill. So in order to nourish your moon and your inner child, you have to fully connect and understand what you want and how you should go about getting what you want. But the thing with the moon is, the moon has a lot to do with illusion. And the moon is very tricky as well because it moves so fast, the moon is very fickle. So that's why we have mood swings. Because every 2.5 days, the moon changes signs and we feel differently. We have a change of heart, so to speak. So when you look at the moon, you have to understand your relationship to your mother, your relationship to success ultimately, because it is your desires, what you want to achieve. What are you capable of achieving? How you maintain a peace of mind, how you nourish that inner child and have positive thoughts rather than negative. The moon is said to be lustful. The moon is described as round and bright and captivating. The moon just likes pleasure, likes to have a good time, likes great food, likes to enjoy itself, enjoy the best of life, the best of what life has to offer. So you'll resonate strongly with the moon if you are a mother, if you're a woman, because the moon rules water, the ocean, and cycles in general. So a woman's menstrual cycle is ruled by the moon. Because as the moon waxes and wanes and changes signs so quickly, the water, you have high and low tide, the water within our body, because we're over 70% water. So the moon is very powerful. Being a satellite of the Earth, the moon is the closest of these planetary bodies to us, astrologically speaking. So the moon is incredibly important. Are you able to take care of your mother? If you're able to take care of your mother and improve the condition of your moon, absolutely. Especially on a Monday when everybody's moody. That's why everybody's moody on Mondays, because of that feeling of the moon. Your desires, oh, I don't want to go to work. So I also think on Mondays, you should take some time every Monday to do something for yourself, to nourish that inner child, to make yourself feel better, feel more upbeat, more at peace. Because the moon is described as being tranquil. But like I said, because the moon waxes and wanes, that's not a constant sense of being. Also, when understanding a planet, you need to look at what's opposite that planet. Look at the axis. What's the 7th house? And the moon, like the sun, has Saturn on the 7th house. But in the moon's case, it's Capricorn. What does Capricorn represent? Capricorn is the government, it's CEOs, it's being at the height of power. So this is why the sun and moon are married. Because the moon is the queen. And the sun, as I said before, is the king. The moon is married, connected to the person at the height of their success. And that's very difficult for the moon because, like I said, In many ways, the moon, the queen, is the top advisor to the king. So the moon can feel, it's our intuition. The moon feels all the opposition that the sun is receiving. The moon is able to see all of the sun's enemies even before the sun can see it. The moon has that awareness, has that intuition, that inner knowing of danger that is approaching or imminent for the sun, who wants to depose the sun, who wants to overthrow the king. That's why in a game of chess, the queen protects the king, protects the throne. But the moon is debilitated in Scorpio in its 5th house and exalted in its 11th house of Taurus. So that again speaks to desires and your gains, and not only your accomplishments, but what you get from those accomplishments, the wealth, your ability to attain wealth. You have to have the right mindset to be successful. You have to have the resources to be successful. You have to have great intuition and know when is the correct time to move, to be active, to take that decisive action of the sun. You need the moon in order to do that. So if moon is your Atma Karaka, which in Gemini astrology is the planet with the highest degree, if you are a mother, if you have your moon in Cancer or Cancer rising, if you are moon dominant in any way, then not only does everything I'm saying resonate with you, but you should pay, and this goes for everyone anyway, you should pay special attention to not only the sign placement of the moon, if you're looking at Vedic astrology, the lunar mansion, the nakshatra of the moon, and also the phase that the moon was in at the time of your birth, which is extremely important. Was it waxing or waning? Was it a bright moon or a dark moon? Because the waxing bright moon, and especially a full moon, is described as being a benefic, whereas a waning, a dark moon, a moon which is moving towards a new moon, is described as a malefic. Now, don't be worried. I personally have come into that understanding of malefic doesn't necessarily mean bad. Benefic doesn't always necessarily mean good. Exalted doesn't always necessarily mean good. Debilitated doesn't always necessarily mean bad. You have to learn how to balance the energies within you. And you have to have that honest understanding of what's manifesting, because this is all your coding. So you need to pay attention to your moon and know the phase, as I said, but more specifically, the lunar day, the lunar titi. Were you born on the first lunar day of the waxing or waning cycle? Were you born on the last, the 14th, 15th lunar day of the waxing or waning cycle? Because the sun is so hot, the moon needs its space. It can't be too close to the sun. The moon is always moving away from the sun and then returning. So this is why sun and moon, the relationship is, relationships have their ups and downs, all relationships, but especially for sun, Leo people, and moon, Cancer people, because they have Saturn on that 7th house. So over time, they should experience improvements. As they grow older and mature, that should improve, as long as they're doing the inner work and learning from the mistakes, learning and understanding. Things aren't happy all the time. You aren't always close. People don't always love you. Your partner needs space. They need their own space to do their own things and fulfill their own desires and obligations and duties. I hope you found this video helpful. In the description box down below, I will leave information on where you can find me. And also a video link to another YouTube channel regarding a video on whether you have life path number 2, which corresponds to the moon, which I found to be very good and very insightful. So I hope you have a great rest of your day.